This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason Glick. What's going on?
Well, I promised you guys a wrist-slittingly good podcast last time, and I aim to deliver right here because I'm going back to a Japanese creator that I really like, Inio Asano, and I've already done one podcast on him back when he had exactly 3 properties to talk about. One was Solanin, which is talk about, which is like a slice of life story about post college Japanese Japanese young adults who were trying to figure out what they wanted to do with their life, and it mixed in just the right amount of sadness and off kilter comedy in order to be really memorable in my opinion. It's like I really like this, and and spoiler warning, it still remains like the best example of what I want of his work in it's like in English to date. He also Viz also did a published 2 volumes of his short works on What a Wonderful World, which showed it's like how quirky real life situations can be, and also deliver a ultimately heartwarming story at the end. So and then for years there was nothing until Fantagraphics did Nishigahara Holograph, which is David Lynchian nightmare about people trying to deal with a certain incident in their in their early teen lives, and just what it all meant. So, now since then, we've actually got a couple more works, including A Girl on the Shore from Vertical, which was good in the sense that talked about these 2 junior high students who are trying to deal with the emptiness in their lives by with casual sex, and like I said, the craft behind it was good, but it was also the kind of thing that would ruin your day. It's after you read it. And then around the same time, we also got Viz's publication of what is at this point Asano's longest work, Goodnight, Punpun. Now, the thing is, with Goodnight, Punpun, I can easily respect the amount of craft and technique that went into this, and I've mentioned that sometimes the fact that it can be kind of depressing in a predictable manner, like in my reviews. Well, that remains true as well. In fact, I've been reading a scanlated version of one of his works, Downfall, about a manga creator who after he finishes his work does not know what to do next with his life. And that's kind of really depressing, but in a fairly straightforward manner. And it's also 1 volume. Solanin was a 2-volume work that was condensed into 1 volume. And the thing is, though, while I'm still waiting for Downfall to be completed in scanlated form, and Solanin and Its Wonderful World exist in completed forms, as is A Girl on the Shore. They ultimately end in such something positive, happy storytelling directions at their end. In the end, Asano, who is someone who realizes the world is kind of a horrible place that kind of beat you down more often than not, but in the end it's something that's ultimately worth living in. That realm, he's actually not too dissimilar from Warren Ellis. If you look at his his collector works as well. So, but the thing is, the Goodnight, Punpun is that 13 volumes. Well, okay. The way it was published in English is that the first 6 volumes were 2-in-1 volumes, and the final volume is just 1 solo volume. Well, it's this is a story that for like for to communicate Asano's belief that the world is ultimately worth living in, despite all of the horribleness that forces upon you. It's probably pushing that way too far. Okay, now to like describe the series like to get the concept behind it. It's actually kind of experimental in the sense that it's got a very heightened sense of reality in the sense that like Punpun, the main character, like is introduced to us in as an elementary school character, but also as as he's rendered in the series itself as a crudely drawn um cre- bird-like creature. It's like, and I mean, it's not like I mean, rest of Asano's art style is highly realistic. I mean, it's incredibly detailed. It's like I mean, you look at you see all the acknowledgments he gives at the end of each volume to to his assistants. And it's like, yeah, it's like these guys earn their worth by all of the with the level of detail that's invested in their like in the background drawings and the characters, because the it's like so detail intensive, except for Punpun himself and his immediate family. Now, the reason I think this was done this way is to allow the reader to fully to more imprint himself on him or herself, like on Punpun, because as Scott McCloud pointed out in like in understanding comics, like it's a lot easier for a character to identify with, for a reader to identify with someone who is like crudely drawn. It's like it's like you can look at like someone who was like drawn with, like, the more realistically a character is drawn, the harder it is to identify with. Like the more crudely drawn they are, the easier it is to for you to imprint your own values and beliefs on there. And it's like, and on one hand, I think he is successful at this, especially in the beginning when like we see Poon Poon as an elementary schooler, and we understand he has an unhappy home life with his dad, who is unemployed, and asking his mom for a beer, and mom gets angry at him, but they're all drawn in in this crude um bird-like design. It's like, and then at the end of the first chapter, when you see his dad in this crude bird-like design standing over his mom, who is had this who is visibly unconscious. It's like, even in this design, but also has this giant welt on her. You think oh God, he just beat her into consciousness, and he tells Poon Poon that no, Poon Poon, there was a robber. It's like, and he attacked us. You believe me, don't you? And you see this, and you think that it's a way to distance the reader from feeling from feeling the worst of it. That it's hey, he's got an awful story that Asano has has an awful story he wants to tell you, but he also needs you to be fully invested, but also manage sense of distance, in the sense that it's like this is happening to cartoon characters as opposed to real characters themselves. And that works for us to a certain point, but at the same time, though, what happens to Poon Poon is insanely depressing. I mean, we find out early on that he falls madly in love with Aiko, the transfer student who comes into his elementary school early on, and he believes that she is the one. And as we find out as the story goes on, it's this belief that he has is whether it's right or not, it's like leads him down a very, very dark rabbit hole. Because one of the things that as after the business with his dad and his mom gets passed, his uncle comes to live with him, and his uncle has his own issues as well. But one of the things he tells Punpun is that, hey, hey, you see this chant, tinkle tinkle hoy, like God will come and and offer and help you. The when we what we learn later on is that this chant comes that Yuichi heard was from a high school girl that was attending his pottery classes, and while she told him this, then we learned that this girl was being kept captive by her mother, and she eventually tricks one of Yuichi's co-workers into killing her, not killing, attacking her mother. It's like through seduction and everything. It's like, and you realize that this chant is isn't something that is meant to help you. Like Yuichi basically gave Punpun the means to summon a demon who was going to torment him throughout his life. And it's like, I guess there is a lot of magical realism in in Goodnight Punpun from from this god who is drawn in a very photorealistic style, who I would not be surprised to learn is actually Asano himself, photoshopped into his work, but also through some of the Punpun's elementary school friends, like Shimizu, who sees his own poop god, and also there's the cult, there's the Cosmo Science cult figure that's also kind of a prominent visual figure in here. It's like, and it's like I said, it's a frightening, almost Lynchian nightmare. It's like looking through Punpun's evolution from elementary school student to middle school student, high school student, just dealing with the dramas that come from each of these growths in his life, from betraying Aiko in his own mind to trying to be trying to live life as a normal high school student and getting laid, but also getting laid and realizing how horrible it can be. It's like, especially when the person who is laying you is your uncle's girlfriend, and who is just trying to alleviate the own loneliness in her life. It's like, and then going into college and meeting with a manic dream pixie girl, Sachi, who has her own dreams, but also it's not really not as she first meets him well equipped to deal with Punpun's own issues. So the series is basically just trying to show you how someone who is not really well equipped to deal with the social requirements that are established in life. It's like, yeah, it's like goes about to survive. I mean, even when Punpun meets Aiko later in the series, you think that, okay, this is going to be the moment where he finally finds happiness. And then it sinks into even deeper darkness and despair when Punpun has to deal with what he thinks is just going to be her mother, and trying to say, hey, Aiko is just going to go ahead and do her own thing right here. But then he winds up having to strangle her after her mother goes psycho. But even then, it's like, is that actually what happens? It's like, Aiko, tries to, tell him this is actually what happened, but is it? It's like, Goodnight Punpun, it's like is definitely not a happy series. It is, however, one that is executed with an immense amount of craft and something that, and I believe, and something that I really believe that Asano is a singular talent. But at the same time, though, it's like this is one of those series where um, if I wasn't a regular podcaster, I wouldn't have gone and reread this because god damn, this is really fucking depressing. It's like even the final volume where things do kind of reach a I don't know, it's a final volume, things get really fucking dark at one point, but in the end, it's like like Punpun, it's like his situation does manage to reach beyond that darkness and finds a reason to continue on living. Do I feel that's earned? Not really, to be honest. It's like I don't know. It's like I keep thinking back to Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips' work, Fade Out, when at the final issue when the main character has kind of gotten his buddy killed, floundered his final chance to find out everything, and then come face to face with the guy who the Hollywood fixtures who was been assigned to clean up everything. It's just all right, fucking kill me. It's like that's it. It's like it's one of those things where it's gone full dark. It's like when you realize that it's like nothing the main characters can do can deliver a happy ending right there. But circumstances conspire against them, and in the end, they're able to keep on living with some semblance of a happy life, I guess. There's a section in Goodnight Punpun where the title character does manage to achieve some sort of like a life of normalcy, only to have it thrust away from him after a certain point. So, excuse me. Okay, and it's like it shows you that it's like he is capable of having a happy life, but it's still, it's like it still feels kind of awkward with his antisocial tendencies, and I guess that's what kind of keeps me from believing that the happy ending he finds himself in, like, even though he was able to invest himself like in this in a somewhat happy, or I guess normal relationship with Sachi. It's like it's like it keeps you from fully believing in that happy ending. It's like, but it's like in the end, like I guess to contradict myself, it's like he was able to like to achieve some semblance of normalness, like after that interaction of normalcy. It's like I contradict myself all over here. So it's like, I guess the thing is, like, after reading like what is like essentially 13 volumes like of a series, it's like you can't really invest yourself. I mean, deliver an unhappy ending would just be kind of like, oh man, it's like, I'm glad this is over. I don't want to read this ever fucking again ever, like, regardless of its critical merits. But in the end, I don't know. It's like Goodnight Punpun. It's like I honestly can't ignore the feelings that it stirs in me. It's like I said, there are parts of that feel immensely relatable, and parts of it that feel it's like I can completely reject them. But parts of it that get me, it's like it's It's like they just like it's like a knife through the heart. Like really, it's like I said, it's like it's a very like moving, involving work, but at the same time though, it's like it's really depressing as well. And I guess that's kind of what keeps me from like fully embracing it because in the end, it's like I want something that I want works that will get me to reread them, regardless of the fact that that I I do a podcast and I'm constantly looking for new material to talk about. Um, like stuff like say like on Box Office Poison from Alex Robinson. Like I really enjoyed rereading that for my 100th podcast. Goodnight Punpun is probably something that I wouldn't have reread if not for the fact that it's like I reread everything for my podcasts. So, like I said, I highly respect the craft and skill that Asano displays in in creating it. But at the same time, it's really goddamn depressing. It's like because it really does connect with those feelings. And the character's arc as well. It's like, but I'm not. But it's like, well, it's going to maintain a place in my library. Until I die. I'm honestly really not sure if I'm going to go and reread it before I die, because there's lots more entertaining stuff that I could check out before then. So I guess that's it, and that's a really uplifting note to end this podcast on. Unless John, you got any positive stuff we can wrap this up on?
Well, except for maybe it really is Goodnight, Punpun.
Yeah, it's like especially when he tries to carve his left eye out in order to get rid of God's presence. Because that's like uplifting everyone. Yeah.
Yep. Ask people who have already done that before. See how effective it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Yes. I'm talking about something that I'm expecting to be like kind of the Jurassic Park 3 of comic book sequels. That is The Dark Knight Returns 3, the Master Race. So maybe it will be legitimately entertaining, or maybe it will just be it's like not quite as ridiculous as the Dark Knight Strikes Again, which I was entertained by, even if I will acknowledge that it's not really any good.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right. Laters.
Bye.